Amid the glare of light that cut through the air, thousands of army shouted hoarsely, and dozens of media from various countries prepared to record every second of the show. But no camera, no reporter, not even HYBE herself thought that in less than a few minutes, Jungkook the Maknae, the golden boy, would steal all the limelight, not just from the audience, but also from the stage that was supposed to belong to Jin. The moment happened fast, so fast as if time stopped amid the bass boom that echoed in the arena. Jin had just started his third set when a large camera on the LED screen suddenly panned towards the VVIP stands. And there, unprepared, unannounced, and without an announcement from the agency, Jungkook is seen standing. Her dark hair was swept gently by the stage breeze, her eyes sharp but soft, wearing a casual black outfit that inexplicably made her look like she had come from a Calvin Klein photo shoot rather than attending a concert. Instantly, the audience exploded. Screams thundered. Some fans cried. Even Jin had stopped singing for 2 seconds, his eyes rounded in shock, before smiling broadly. Jungkook just raised his hand slowly, as if to say, "I'm here, Hyung." But behind that simple gesture, there are thousands of emotions that explode. HYBE reportedly did not know about Jungkook's arrival that night. According to some internal reports, Jungkook had just arrived in Korea 3 hours earlier after a brief agenda in Japan related to Calvin Klein. He was supposed to go straight home to rest, but something made him change his plans. He decided to come to Jin's concert without telling anyone, including his manager. This is where the story begins to change direction. As Jungkook climbed into the backstage area to greet Jin after the third song, the entire American media camera in attendance began to rotate its focus. It's as if their journalist instincts knew that this wasn't just a reunion moment between 2 BTS members, it was a symbol. A symbol of loyalty, brotherhood, and the magnetic power of a Jungkook who is able to shift the entire center of gravity of the stage with just his step. On Twitter, within 10 minutes of its appearance, the hashtag number Jungkook at Jin's concert occupied the #1 global trending, overtaking even the official hashtag of the Jin concert itself. CNN Entertainment, Rolling Stone, and Billboard all wrote articles with almost uniform titles, "Jungkook stole the night." But what exactly made the evening so monumental? The answer is not simply because Jungkook is present. This is due to the way it is present, calm, sincere, and without any intention of taking over. But the world reacted just the opposite. As Jin continued his concert and arrived at the song The Astronaut, the camera again captured Jungkook, this time standing behind the sound desk, singing the chorus softly. Fans around the area were crying. Some amateur videos showed tears falling on fans' faces as they watched Jungkook stare proudly at the stage, then pat his chest softly as if greeting Jin from a distance. After the concert was over, Jin hugged Jungkook backstage, and the moment was leaked through staff cameras that later spread to the media. In the video, Jin is heard saying, "You don't have to come, but I know you will." Jungkook chuckled as he replied, "I can't help but come." It's a simple sentence, but it carries a lot of meaning, because in the midst of busy schedules, industry pressures, and the global role he plays, Jungkook still chooses to come as a younger brother who wants to give support. But behind that heartwarming moment, there is another side that cannot be ignored. HYBE is rumored to be panicking. Some staff were reportedly confused as Jungkook's arrival was not recorded in the official rundown of the event. They were worried that his presence would divert the media spotlight away from Jin, especially since all the major outlets in America had already started writing headlines calling Jungkook the show stealer. But in reality, no one can resist what has happened. The digital world has decided who the star of the night will be. Ironically, Jin himself seemed undisturbed. In a short post-concert interview, he even said, "If it's Jungkook, let him take my stage. I'm proud." The statement ignited a new discussion among fans whether it signifies BTS's relationship remaining strong behind the scenes, or it's a sign that Jungkook is now at a level of influence that can no longer be controlled, even by his own company. Many have speculated that Jungkook's act that night was not just a spontaneous endorsement, but a symbolic statement that he no longer just acts as an artist under the HYBE label, but as a global entity standing on a par with the world's brands and media giants. Some entertainment analysts even wrote op-ed that HYBE looks like the company is trying to catch up with Jungkook, not the other way around. Meanwhile, the American media is portraying this incident in a more dramatic tone. Variety wrote, "Jungkook didn't perform, but he didn't need to. His presence was the performance." That sentence went viral because it perfectly illustrates the magnetism that Jungkook has, that even without singing, without choreography, without a special stage, he is still able to make the world stop for a moment. After the concert, Jungkook's attendance video broke through more than 50 million cross-platform views within 24 hours. The public reaction was divided. Some called it the most beautiful moment in BTS's post-military era, while others said HYBE should have been better prepared for the Jungkook effect phenomenon that could happen at any time. But one thing is certain. The night proved that Jungkook is not just a pop idol. He is a symbol of collective emotion. Someone who comes not to compete, but to remind the public that the human connection between brothers, between fans and artists, is still stronger than any business calculation or promotional agenda. And when the evening ended, many left the arena with mixed feelings: awe, emotion, and a little disbelief. How can one figure change the atmosphere just by standing up? The answer may never be explained logically, but clearly, that night, the world witnessed something unrepeatable. A moment when love, loyalty, and surprise met at one point, and Jungkook's name reverberated, even at a concert that wasn't his. And this is where everything changes. When Jin stood on the stage, all eyes were on him. But a few seconds later, the already Haru atmosphere turned into an explosion of hysteria. From the backstage, a familiar silhouette emerges: Jungkook. No announcement, no sign before. It just appeared, as if hijacking the moment that should have belonged to Jin. But not in a negative sense, but rather with an aura that shook the entire arena. The lights suddenly changed color. The LED screen displays Jungkook's visuals in a dramatic black and white effect, then changes to a fiery red color as his signature beat hits. Everyone was screaming, some even crying, because they couldn't believe they were seeing two BTS members on the same stage again. One moment that wasn't announced, wasn't scheduled, but felt like history repeating itself. HYBE, according to numerous reports from Korean entertainment media, did not know this surprise in detail. Jungkook reportedly coordinated the performances himself, bringing in a small independent team without agency interference. In fact, American media such as Billboard and Rolling Stone instantly wrote impromptu articles in less than an hour after his appearance. Titles like "Jungkook Hijacks Jin Stage and the World Loses It" became trending on Twitter and X within minutes. When the song started, Jin tried to hold back the tears. He looked at Jungkook with a faint smile, then chuckled amid the cheers of thousands. Jungkook approached, hugged her briefly, then immediately sang a rearranged cut of the song, a mix of "Still With You" and "The Astronaut." The two songs came together with a harmony that penetrated the hearts of the audience. No one expected that two songs full of personal meaning would be united on one stage by two figures of such strong influence. But behind the beauty of the moment, there is tension behind the scenes. Sources in the industry called HYBE panicked because the concert plans did not involve official coordination. Jungkook, who recently returned from overseas, was called too spontaneous. But the public praised him for his courage to show a human side, not just a schedule. Abiding idle. Clips of the performance instantly spread to global platforms. TikTok, Instagram, and even CNN Entertainment's newscast aired a snippet of the video with the narration, "a rare moment of brotherhood that moved millions." Hashtags like #JinJungkook moment and #HYBE was not ready occupied the top spot in the world's trending for over 12 hours. Interestingly, the "plow the stage" moment actually shows the irreplaceable relationship between the BTS members, while showing that Jungkook's influence now goes beyond the industrial structure. In 90 seconds of his performance, Jungkook not only changed the direction of Jin's concert, he also shook the global perception of the agency's control over major artists. And when the music ends, Jin whispers softly into the mic, clearly audible throughout the arena. "You never fail to surprise me, Jungkook." The audience broke out in tears, shouts, and laughter, while HYBE, according to Korean media, could only watch from behind the scenes surprised, perhaps a little panicked because the most viral moment of the year did not come from the corporate strategy, but from the sincere surprise of the two brothers who reunited on stage. After that incident, the entertainment world completely stopped for a moment. Within hours, the entire international media was talking about the same thing: how Jungkook managed to hijack Jin's concert and make the moment a global event. It's not just BTS fans who are excited. Industry analysts, brand ambassador managers, and even producers from major American labels have highlighted Jungkook's spontaneous but impactful move. According to some reports, HYBE initially considered Jungkook's presence as a surprise guest who merely greeted Jin. However, no one expected that he would appear full of new lighting, stage effects, and musical arrangements. Internal staff admitted that the lighting system even had to be rearranged suddenly because Jungkook brought his own production team. It wasn't a cameo, but rather a 90-second mini-show that swallowed up the global spotlight. In less than 30 minutes, YouTube and TikTok were inundated with more than 10 million views. Major media accounts such as Variety, Rolling Stone, Forbes, and Billboard wrote flash coverage. The title is almost uniform: HYBE shocked as Jungkook hijacks Jin's concert. Even Japanese media such as Oricon joined in the discussion, calling the moment the purest reunion of artistry and brotherhood. Fans cried not because of the drama, but because of the simplicity of the expressions of both. Jungkook came with no promotion, no sponsorship, but managed to beat any giant marketing strategy. Jin, who initially performed in a more formal concert format, seemed completely unable to hide his emotions. After the hug, Jin said quietly, "You always know when to come." The sentence immediately became a viral quote across social platforms. However, HYBE's post-concert reaction adds to the intensity of this story. Within hours of the concert, the agency issued a brief, awkward statement. Jungkook's presence is a form of personal support for Jin. We honor his initiative as part of the BTS extended family. A sentence that looks diplomatic, but the South Korean media read an unprepared tone behind it. Many analysts judged that HYBE seemed to be trying to dampen the perception that Jungkook had taken over the spotlight of Jin's concert. In fact, for the public, this is a moment that shows Jungkook's personal strength, that he can create history without a plan, without a campaign, just by his own presence. Some entertainment journalists even compared the effect of Jungkook's performance to the Super Bowl halftime incident in the United States, a brief moment that dominated the global conversation and increased attention to the artists involved. Within 24 hours, Jungkook's name was trending in 72 countries, and his sales on streaming platforms soared dramatically. In fact, Jin's concert merchandise featuring Jungkook's silhouette was sold out just because fans wanted to have impromptu historical evidence. On the other hand, some industry observers have judged that Jungkook's actions indicate something greater: complete control over his own image and narrative. During this time, HYBE is known for its tightly structured management. But what Jungkook is doing shows that he is now moving with independent power, something that is rare in the Korean idol system. Meanwhile, the American media wrote a sharp analysis: "When Jungkook moves, the industry follows." This sentence illustrates how big the impact of 90 seconds is. Jungkook didn't just shock fans or scare HYBE, he rewrote the rules of how a global idol could create phenomenal moments without the support of a massive structure behind him. All that remains is a fact. Jin's concert may have belonged to HYBE, but the most memorable moment of that night was Jungkook's.